Hi 1-2A. For a few minutes in this video I'm going to talk to you about the word design and how we're going to be using design over the next 3 weeks in a very special activity with some of the students from Year 5 and 6. Let's start by imagining that you've got a hat on. It could be any hat. Take it off your head and use with your finger to write the word designer somewhere on it. Then place it back on your head. This is going to help us to be able to think about what it means to design and how we go about doing it. Now I know that some of you are already saying, Mrs. Allen, we know what it means to design. And you could be thinking things like being creative, using building materials, putting things together, making something. And you know what? You'd all be right. But design is actually more than that, okay? It needs to be a beginning point. And the beginning point is the thinking and knowing what we need to be thinking about, okay? So you don't just have a playhouse. Somebody's actually thought about that. Thought about what it looks like. What do other playhouses look like? What works and what doesn't work? And then you get the ideas and you put the ideas together and then it becomes a playhouse, eventually. But we have to start somewhere. We have to know a couple of things first. To design something, we need to know why we're designing it. We need to know if there's a need for something to happen or if there's a problem. Problem solving is very much a part of design. Once we know what it is that we need or what we need to solve, then we can start to look at ways to make it happen. And that involves the thinking and the planning. And usually, we do this with other people. We collaborate. We test out our ideas with each other. We put our brains together and think. So brainstorming is going to be the first thing that we do with our activity. Right? We've used that a lot this year already. And I know that you have got some great thinking brains. So what is it that I want you to do? Mrs. Pearson, our principal, she has a very important job of designing the new classrooms that are being built in our school next year. And she wants every student in the school to think about what their ideal classroom would be and to tell her what their ideas are. How we're going to do that is by asking ourselves some questions. Think about some of the classrooms that you've been in. What did you like about them? Did you feel safe? Were you happy? Or perhaps you didn't like things and would like to change them. And what would you change? What would you like to see different? You're probably already answering some of these questions. Keep them under your hat because when we're with our Year 5 and 6 partners, we're going to be able to do some brainstorming around it. Now that's the first thing we're going to do. Then the second thing is we're going to have a bit of an explore on the internet and find out what some of the classrooms around the world look like and get ourselves some ideas from there. Or you might just have some ideas already that are different to anybody else's and we want to capture that as well. Once we've looked on the internet, we're going to think about how we can build it or make it and show our ideas to Mrs. Pearson and the school. Remember, not everybody's ideas are going to be able to go into the classrooms, but this is a great way of being able to show what your ideas are and to have a real input into what our school can look like. Now, some of the ways we can do that would be we can put a piece of paper up on the wall and you can draw it, or you could design it by sculpting and making some clay, or you could do some software programs on the internet, on the computer as well, and that's another way. So we're going to be all working at that together. So we spend a lot of time at school, let's face it, so we should really have some input into how everything looks like and the way we go about things. So let's have fun with this.